people want something to be a part of.
Yeah.
And the gospel is actually more attractive than we sometimes think it is. And so that was just the spark in a young guy's heart going, yeah, man, there's possibility. I just felt in my heart, we need to pray for this. And so I took the Jeremiah 29 principle, pray for the peace and prosperity of your city. Right. Because if it prospers, you too will prosper. So that really stuck with me. And I was like, okay, we're going to do that. The idea in Canadian culture, I talked about it last night, like Nehemiah asked for success and favor. Right. And I think we put on false humility. Canadians. Yeah.
You know, like we don't want it, but we kind of do.
Right. And so I think in scripture, it's right there. Yeah. Give me success and favor. Yeah. So of course we're going to ask for that. Yeah. And not feel ashamed about asking for that. Yeah. Because God actually wants to help us do what he wants to accomplish. Yeah.
Well, hey everybody, and welcome to the Help Me See show. And I'm so excited today. We are in lovely Blue Mountain, Collingwood.
Man. Come on.
Where my wife and I and Phil, also, which I'll introduce in a second, did our first snowboarding. So we're very excited to be up here at a conference. And today I'm really excited because we're just on a mission to challenge limiting belief systems. We're continuing to hear stories of people who are seeing possibility, walking in the land of what's possible, and then just pushing past the familiar. And we just believe that there's more that's possible. So we're so excited about that. And today I have a sort of a new friend, Phil, somebody I grew up with as a young youth punk kid in Manitoba when he was back in Ministry Days youth pastor and pastoring there. But Phil is an incredible leader. He leads one of our largest churches in our nation with a mission to see 1% of their city transformed. And so, so excited, man, to have you. Thanks,
Justin, appreciate you just reaching out and doing this.
Love it.
It's cool to be here.
So good.
Yeah.
So let's lean in a little bit. So I know you grew up in Kitchener.
Yeah.
Found your way to Edmonton, Alberta, leading a church now of thousands of people every single week.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about, maybe just lean in around, what does that look like in terms of mindset?
Sure.
Growing up in Kitchener, with your church experience, what does it look like to go from that to leader of a large church? What kind of mindsets do you feel like maybe even you had to challenge over the last 20, 30 years? Talk a little bit about what that journey was like.
Yeah, I grew up in a German church.
Okay,
so it was really small.
Yeah.
We had 200, 250 people. And there was no, I would say, outward bound thinking of, hey, the church exists for beyond these walls.
Right.
It felt very much, we're a community.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was great. I had some good friends. Everyone knew everyone. We hung out. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But there was no missional component to the church at large.
Right.
It was almost like you hoped people would show up, but there was no effort, prayer, dream, anything that kind of way. And so, coming out of that and then entering ministry, like Bible college, all that, right?
Yep.
I started actually here in Southern Ontario.
Right.
With my first job youth pastoring in a really small town.
Yeah.
And I just remember God blowing up that youth group in a small town. And I was a city kid through and through. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was like, God, you're bringing me to a small town. But at the end of the day, it was kind of just being obedient with the next step.
Yeah.
Saying, okay. But I remember going to the small town and saying, okay, I'm going to be the youth pastor. Let's see what we can do. And I went into the high school, did all this stuff. And the thing blew up. And I was like, people want something to be a part of.
Yeah.
And the gospel is actually more attractive than we sometimes think it is. And so that was just the spark in a young guy's heart going, man, there's possibility.
Yeah.
And if you shape and form the gospel in a way that makes sense to people, they're going to actually receive it because it is good news. Right. And so I think that started a little bit of, for me going, hey, the mountain's possible.
Cool.
Yeah. And then I moved to Winnipeg.
Yeah.
That's where
how did that happen, by the way?
So I did my internship in Winnipeg.
Okay.
At a church that my dad used to pastor.
Okay.
So he had connections. I'm like, get me out of Ontario. I want an experience.
Want to go to Winnipeg?
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who said, get me out of get me and go to Winnipeg. I mean, shout out to Winnipeg. I grew up there. So
hey, I met my wife there. Okay. I met my wife on internship.
That's right. Some of the best people there.
There we go.
So no hate.
And so we got married. And that was awesome, right? So well set.
Yes.
It
was worth it. It was worth it.
we moved back to Ontario because I was pastoring here already. But then a year later, we moved back to Winnipeg and started pastoring there.
Okay.
Mid-sized church context, like 500-600 people.
Yeah.
And loved what we were doing, but just always felt this unsettledness because it was very much in the box. And we were trying to read the youth group. Again, I was a youth young adult pastor. We're seeing minimal growth, but it was good.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I moved to Edmonton, where I was a young adult pastor of the church that I pastor now. And it was overseeing something called The Project, very vibrant young adult ministry. And the potential of what we saw there was incredible. Just continuous salvations, continuous people just coming to Jesus in their 20s.
Wow.
And it just started to become a little infectious for me. Like I was like, okay, I think I want to spend my life on trying to make the Bible make sense to people who don't know the Bible. And so it was just kind of that start. And then we thought we would be in Edmonton maybe 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll go do this gig, move back to Manitoba or Ontario.
Right.
God saw differently. I've been there 20 years.
That's wild.
And 11 years leading the church.
Whoa.
And so you talked about having this vision.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, talk about that.
For me, I wanted a big hill to climb for my ministry life. I just didn't want to settle for just doing church week after week and being happy with. At the time, the church was 2,500 people.
Yeah.
Everyone would say, dude,
it's great.
You're coasting.
Yeah.
Just keep leading it, man. Like, this is killer. Why do you want it bigger? You know, and it's not for my glory or anything. It's because I just wanted to see, can a church in Canada make an impact so that the city knows the church?
Yeah.
You know, that when you go through, oh yeah, I have a friend who goes to Hope City. I have a friend who, whatever, or I go there, that type of deal. It was kind of just asking God for something that I'd never seen in my lifetime. So that's where the 1% came out of.
So what's 1% of Edmonton?
Well, it keeps growing. That's the problem. When we made it 9 years ago, it was like 10,000. It's about 11 and a half now.
So you got to keep catching catching up.
And I'm like, okay, God, you know, right?
That's like God inflation kind of thing.
That's exactly it.
That's awesome.
So the thing is, we started 9.5 years ago, what I can call engaged worship and prayer nights.
Okay.
And so they were embedded in this idea that we can't do this without God. It's so big, right? Like none of us are going to be able to accomplish something like this. It seems out of reach. That's why I loved it. Yeah. It was kind of like, hey, let's spend our life going after something. And if it happens, praise God. If it doesn't, it's out of reach, but we're still going to go for it, right? Yeah. And so the cool thing about that, I'll make a side note, Justin, was I was able to hire some pretty amazing team because they'd be like, yeah, I want to do this. Right. I want to spend my life going after something like this. So a grandiose vision. Yeah, it was compelling. Got some really high capacity leaders.
Interesting, eh?
Yeah, which was fun.
So a compelling vision is attractive. Yeah, for all parties. Really.
Totally. You know, and so going back to what I was saying, 9.5 years ago, I just felt in my heart, we need to pray for this. And so I took the Jeremiah 29 principle, pray for the peace and prosperity of your city. Right. Because if it prospers, you too will prosper. So that really stuck with me. And I was like, okay, we're going to do that. Yeah. And so we started gathering once every 2 months. Not a lot, but enough. Yeah. And the first night we had 125 people come out. And I'm like, cool. Great. Yeah. And I still remember leaving that night and looking over at one of my staff members. And I said, I want 1,000. I want 1,000 people calling upon Jesus for our city, for souls to be saved, all this kind of stuff. And I said, I'm going for that. Yeah. And it was just like, sometimes you're like, what the heck are you saying? Right?
Why did I say that number?
Car and you're just like, oh man, really? You know? But then on the other hand, I just think those are the moments the Spirit just puts a little bit of boldness of faith in you. And you're like, okay, we said it. Yeah. We didn't see that happen until about 6 months ago.
I was going to say, you talked about that last night.
We saw over 1,100.
That's incredible.
And just thankful. Yeah. But that's been a consistent part of our journey of reaching thousands of people.
That's been at the core of that. So we're just calling God for this.
Consistently praying for the peace and prosperity of our city.
Whoa.
And for souls to be saved.
Yeah.
And
okay.
So,
you talked about something I want to lean in on for a second. But so when you talk about more, like you said, I wanted something compelling. I wanted to believe for something more. Yeah. The motivation for more, I feel like is sometimes misunderstood. Because I feel like for some people would think, oh, you just want to be a big, this is about your ego but like that like motivation of more because you actually know who God is, his character is abundance. It's generous. It's like there is no limit to that.
Right.
How do you kind of navigate that, or how do you, I guess, help yourself know when you're operating in one or the other of those tensions, or as you communicate it to others, maybe just lean in on that for a second, because I do feel like that's a bit of a one in, especially in the Canadian church, that maybe gets misinterpreted, or people just assume they come in, oh, I know this church, they have the lights, all they care about is blah, 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 fill in the blank.
Yeah.
But that's not actually, I don't care about that at all.
Right.
So yeah, how do you kind of navigate that?
It's a good question. I think you have to wrestle with that internally before you ever go external.
Right.
Okay. So at the core of it, I never cared about pastoring a large church.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah.
That was never my motivation. That was never my heart.
Yeah.
Ever. And that's why I started in a small town. You know what I'm saying?
So you went to Winnipeg.
Yeah, exactly. There wasn't really this, this is my end goal in life, to be this pastor of a megachurch. I didn't care.
Right.
So it really started internally with, actually, my heart is for people to know Jesus. And the kingdom of heaven is so vast and so wide, and God wants all to be saved.
Yeah.
And so if I'm going to spend my life on ministry, I want to spend it on something that I want to look back and go, man, dang, we tried hard. Right. Yeah. And we just saw the kingdom expand. And so that was kind of the heart motivator to it.
Yeah.
When I moved to Edmonton, when I took over lead, I still remember a significant moment, and it happened where God broke my heart for the city. And I was just driving in my car, and it happened over a week span, honestly, where almost every day I'd be driving around downtown, wherever, weeping. I would just be weeping. Still, sorry, bro. It still moves me because it just, that is why we're doing this, right? Like, I would see people on the sidewalk walking, and I would just be praying over them. I'd be stopping at a light, and instead of getting mad at the driver next to you, I'm praying for them, right? And it's just like, God broke my heart for the city. And I just feel like that is part of a pastor's posture. If you're going to reach your city, you got to love them.
Yes.
And so you got to be able to go out there and actually have that brokenness for them, and not just be, hey, we're running this church, we're doing this, we're leading that. Yeah. So that was all internal.
Yeah.
Okay. And no one knows that. Right. Like, I don't talk about that.
Yeah.
That was just the posture that God needed to do in me in order to, I say this to our staff now, God trusts us.
Right.
And so in order for God to trust us, he had to make the posture right in us.
Yeah.
And in me specifically.
Wow.
So I would say that's kind of where it's birthed from. The idea in Canadian culture.
Yeah.
I talked about it last night. Like, Nehemiah asked for success and favor.
Right.
And I think we put on false humility.
Yeah.
Canadians.
Yeah.
You know,
like, we don't want it, but we kind of do.
Right. And so I think in scripture, it's right there.
Yeah.
Give me success and favor.
Yeah.
So of course we're going to ask for that.
Yeah.
And not feel ashamed about asking for that.
Yeah.
Because God actually wants to help us do what he wants to accomplish.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think he just wants some willing people to go bold enough and to see beyond some of the church barriers, some of the cultural barriers, some of the traditional church things that we've set in place, and just go, okay, go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. Okay, so as you made some of those jumps, so you were youth pastor, then you made the jump to lead pastor. Were there some things that you found you had to shape your thinking differently pretty quickly? How quickly did you find that that jump in mindset need to happen for you, or what maybe shifted for you, or did anything shift?
Yeah, I think immediately you feel the weight. Okay. So like, all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow. Okay, I'm carrying the weight of this church, this organization, this team.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously you worry is a strong word. Obviously you're concerned and you keep metrics and tabs on everything.
Right.
Because you got to, right? I mean, financially, you got to know where we're at if the staff's getting paid.
Right.
You know, like all that kind of stuff. And so I put some measures in place. Like, here's just an example of just how you have to think differently. Because before I was lead, I didn't care about where my paycheck came from. I just knew it came.
It was going to come. Right? Yeah.
But so this reality was like, okay, I want to create a buffer so that if we ever get in trouble, I can still pay the staff for a significant amount of time.
Right.
So we took a percentage, put it aside. And that was one of the beauties when COVID hit, because I remember there was a lot of lead pastors laying their team
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
And I pulled our staff in, fairly large staff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I just said, guys, just so you know, we've got contingency set aside.
Mm-hmm.
No one's losing their job. If you work here, it's because I want you here.
Yeah.
Right. You would have lost your job before this if you weren't supposed to be here,
Yes.
that type of deal.
Yeah.
And I just said, your role is not to worry about where the money's coming from right now.
Right.
Your role is to worry
Just
about
to
how
be
we're going to
faithful.
pastor our people.
Yeah. Yeah.
How are we going to do this?
Mm.
So, okay, that's one of the mind shifts I had to
Yes.
do, right? Just as soon as you get into lead.
Yeah.
The fiscal responsibility.
Mm.
And then it's obviously, let's chart the path forward.
Yeah.
Where are we going? Where are we going after? And that's where, again, the 1% came out of.
Yeah.
Outside of that, there's the spiritual burden. And one of the rhythms I've practiced is going away for a week.
Yep.
Solitude and prayer for God.
Yep.
Or with God, and just praying over our church. And so it's been really life-giving.
Yeah.
Hearing the voice of the Lord, God, what do you have to say for our church in this next season?
Yeah.
This next year ahead. Actually plan out our whole next year's preaching calendar.
Yeah.
So I do it every August.
Cool.
January to December is all planned.
Love it.
You know, yeah. You just kind of
Yeah.
find that space to go away, be with the Lord. And that's a rhythm I've had to put in that has been very helpful.
That's awesome. Okay, I want to talk about you actually a little bit more.
Okay.
This is a lot about you, but I want to talk about you from like, who is Phil? And there's a couple things. So even like last night, let me back up even a bit more. Number of months ago, I read a great book, Erwin McManus, it's called The 7 Frequencies of Communication. And it's just interesting. Essentially, the concept is that beneath your words, there are frequencies constantly at play as you speak. People aren't hearing words, they hear a frequency. So sometimes that's a challenger, sometimes that's a motivator, sometimes that's a professor. That's more of like a teacher. Sometimes it's more of a challenger or a commander, you know, like that. Sometimes in an emergency, you want a commander frequency, somebody who's going to call you to like out of the, sometimes there's a maverick, like a voice of like painting a picture of something that's never been done before.
Right.
There's these frequencies. So last night I was listening to you, and I noticed you're a dynamic teacher. There's a professor part of you that loves to like lean in around. And you talked a little bit about if people could know and understand the things of God, it could transform them.
Right.
What's that?
Yeah.
Like what's that in you? And like, was there something in you that was an experience you had that shaped you in such a dynamic way, or like? Is that true? Maybe even is that a true assumption as I talk about that, listening to you?
I think it's kind of funny, Justin, that you say that, because I would say
you say opposite.
I'm least that.
Okay.
I feel I'm more a motivator,
right? And
like, hey, I'm here to encourage and inspire.
Yeah.
But that said, I think for me, it's always going back to what I said earlier. I can help the Bible make sense, because that's the job of a pastor.
Yes.
I just don't want to get up and talk my words.
Yeah.
I want them to be God's words.
Yeah.
And so if I can find scripture that helps me see, do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Beyond what I'm seeing.
Right.
I think that's where I want to head.
Still rooted there. That's your motivational
teacher, you know, because I do a lot of study on scripture.
Yes.
My goal would rather be not to be the professor type, but to be the inspirational type.
Well, I definitely felt that. You landed full motivator, and I was like, let's go. Bold prayers. So okay, then talk to me a little bit about who how would you just say, like, who is Phil?
Yeah.
If someone was to ask you, like, what motivates you, what excites you, what gets you up in the morning? Who is Phil?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, at the core, I'm a child of God.
Yeah.
I'm a husband and a dad, first and foremost.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I would say, I think God's given me the audacity to dare when it comes to things that he's called me to. Dare to dream, dare to believe, dare to ask.
Yeah.
And so I'm not afraid to do that. I've always been a guy who's been in extreme sports.
Yeah.
Turn 52 next month.
Okay.
It's much less. I like watching now instead of doing. But there's that daring aspect in my life. You know, that's like good. It's always been, hey, let's see what we can do.
Yeah.
And it's got me in a lot of trouble, right? Sports-wise, meaning I banged my body up massively.
Yeah.
To a point where once I was doing a flip on a wakeboard, and my body, I landed on my neck.
Okay.
And it actually paralyzed myself.
Okay.
Like it shocked my body so hard that they had to pull me into the boat. I couldn't move for hours. And I thought it was like, you did it, dude, like, but it's just always kind of pushing those limits and feeling like, okay, we should do this. We should try this.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to believing big for God's kingdom, then, I mean, I talked about last night, you sit down with the guy, can you do a matching campaign for 500?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. No, that's a big ask. You don't just ask that to anyone.
That's right.
He ends up giving $1 million. I'm like, bro, you just blew my paradigm. Right.
Yeah.
And so, okay, now I'm ready to ask for more.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And by the way, in another project, I did ask him for $1 million.
Yeah.
And he gave it. Yeah.
Amazing.
So like, you just go there because once God opens the door, you're kind of like, all right, I asked once. What do I got to lose?
Yeah. But I think it's contagious. Like when you have those audacious prayers, those audacious faith and dreams, it's like people like, I want to be a part of that.
Totally.
Like I want to give to, like, why wouldn't you?
Right.
Like, I think that's part of being on a winning team. We all have that, like, we want to win. Like, and if you believe it, I want to believe it with you. And what if we all did this, you know?
I do want to give a caveat here, okay? Because it can lean to this, like, oh, we're all about health, wealth, and like, prosperity.
Yep.
Dude, we're not that. I mean, it's about life. It's about reality.
Yeah.
Man, I can tell you in the 11 years of leading this church, there's a ton of highs.
Yep.
There's a ton of lows.
Right.
And you got to push through those. You got to just go, okay, God, you've called us to take the mountain. I'm not going to let something like this stop us. You have to assess it. Sometimes it's spiritual attack.
Yep.
Sometimes it's dumb decisions.
Right.
You just got to own it.
Yeah.
Sometimes
just overscheduled yourself.
Yeah. Sometimes just margin, right?
Yep.
Other times it's like staffing, staff member just went off the rails and you're like, okay, I'm going to help you get that. Like, so it's not always this.
Yes.
And I don't want people to hear that message.
Yeah.
It's just that I'm the type of guy who sees a glass half full versus half empty, right? And so that leans into my conversation more times than not.
Yeah. Do you think there's a principle on that? Does it boil down to as simple as you keep a soft heart and you keep showing up, day after day?
I like
to
say
keep
it
believing.
This way. Yeah, I believe that. And I like to say it this way, Justin. Just be faithful with your next step.
Right.
Because God just always gives you that next step.
Yeah.
Be faithful and obedient. It's funny because I have individuals who will come up to me and say, Bible college kid, I want your job. How do I get it?
Right.
And I'm like,
you're like, wrong question.
You know what? You're probably never going to get it.
Right.
Because I never wanted this.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All I did was, and I said, what I think the better thing for you to do is be all in with what you have right now.
Yeah.
And that's all I did. I was always all in with what was in front of me.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like that Moses, take what's in your hand and I'll use it.
Yes.
So
I feel like that's my prayer for most of my, last season at least, has just been, God, help me to know what you want me to do and help me to do only that. Like I want to know that.
Yeah.
And with all my great ideas and side projects and things that I want to accomplish, help me to do what you want me to do and only that.
But see, and I'm going to pump your tires a bit here, and you just moving and doing it. And some work, some don't. Right. But it's just a part of, hey, we want to reach people.
It seems from the outside, sometimes looking in, that there is kind of this like, the American kind of way is they just believe they could do anything.
Yeah.
Like that's ingrained somehow in the DNA of American culture. Like we can be a franchise in the corporate world we're gonna have 100 locations or like that's just such an interesting way that we almost we don't love our heroes until they're long gone. It's like we tear down our heroes here. Yeah. It's like lead from among, everyone's the same, everyone's equal. Don't think you're too big, or we'll be sarcastic with you to kind of, pull you. So it's an interesting cultural paradigm. I feel like that's always beneath the surface of like, don't think you're too much better than you are. Yeah. Or I want to pull you down to your level. Like we do that to our heroes in such a bizarre way. And I feel like that's what the kingdom of God pushes back on that. Like I want to celebrate when somebody's winning. I want to call out the God colors in someone. I want to see possible, like life transformation in a broken scenario of somebody's life, and just to see totally transformed, to write a new narrative in their family. Like that's a part of that mindset that I really love.
Right.
And I want that.
Some of the language we use is we want to change family trees. Right.
Yeah.
So it's about the individual.
Yes.
It's never just about the masses. Right.
Yeah.
And so when you go down to that route, you're right. It's so joyful. It is like, look at this. We've changed the trajectory of a family tree.
So good.
Holy Spirit and God working through us. You get what I'm saying. It's all about him. But he's used us to do that. Yeah.
Kind of shift gears a little bit.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the creative world, because I view you as also, you guys have an incredibly creative church. You're a gifted communicator. So how do you think about communicating? Obviously, there's a bit of a misread there, so you can help me on this a little bit. But what do you think about when you're communicating? What creatively kind of fires you up these days? Like maybe in the creative space, what kind of gets you, I don't know, kind of excited about like still after all these years preaching messages, Christmas comes every year. Yeah. There's all these things that are happening. Like, do you find there's a part of it that like is kind of still fired up in you? Like, oh man, there's another challenge in this to kind of conquer each week, even as a communicator. Is there a part of you that like, oh man, how can I use this gift of communication and so many dynamics to help one person? Like, I don't know. How do you think about communication and the creative?
It's a great question, bro. So I preach 4 times a weekend. Okay. Every weekend. Okay. So you can get tired of communicating. So I often say, I don't go speaking elsewhere a lot because I speak enough. Yeah. If you know what I mean.
I do.
Like, you're just like, I do it 4 times a weekend, bro. I don't need to do it anymore. I don't need to hear my voice anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Like I'm tired of my own voice. Like,
part of what I always aspire to do is connect with the heart.
Yeah.
Okay. So know your audience, know who you're going to talk to. And for me, it's always what's that relatable heart.
Yes.
And if you can go there, good. Because it's authenticity that connects.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the creative, I would say, unfortunately, and this is the honest truth, my creativity is probably suffering a bit because of my margin for it in my role.
Yeah.
I would say I go to my lanes that I know work.
Okay.
I wish I could have sometimes more time.
Yeah.
I wish sometimes, but like even being here, dude, we have Thursday night church.
Yeah.
I started writing that this morning.
Okay. Yeah, you're thinking about Thursday.
And you're just like, and just for context, that's 2 days.
Right.
Yes. So it's that kind of idea of, okay, we have it all planned out. Our team brings, so the creative is more my team now, because I told you I plan a year in advance. Yeah. And so we have a creative team in our context. So I'm blessed for that.
Yeah.
To have a team that comes around. So they know the series, they know the topic, they know where we're heading. They'll give me the ideas.
Got it.
And so I actually like that because it's empowering people who are better than me in that lane.
They're pushing you in that regard. Yeah.
And they'll be like, hey, have you thought of this?
Yeah.
Hey, we got this idea. How do you feel? Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks. And I can say yay or nay.
Right.
But it's just a matter of I don't have to give that as much brain space. And as much as I love it, I feel like I don't have the margin.
Right. Now, maybe I actually wonder too, because for me, I view the creative in some ways. Yes, there are these traditional creative things, but to me, it's actually problem solving. It's creative solutions to. I feel like it's maybe for you, maybe just shifted in terms of like you solve different creative problems. Like how do we all work together? How do we staff this? How do we organize ourselves in a way? How do we have how do we share this compelling vision in a strategic fashion that gets the most amount of people? Right. So I think I wonder too, if maybe the creative has just kind of shifted for you. And so you're still thinking creatively, it's just in a different context.
Right. That's really insightful, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Because for me, I think that's even as it relates to the show, we did a breakout yesterday. And I said, I feel like this cultural narrative that creatives just make videos and they lead worship.
Right.
Or whatever. And it's like, those are the creatives. And I'm like, that's such a lie. Like the creative God is in us. The cosmic creative painted the stars. Those stars reached our eyeballs and they died still probably years ago. Like he made that. He knit me together. He's in me. Yeah. So all of us actually, to know him is to be creative because we're connected to the creator, you know? So I think for me, I see you actually as very creative because you found a way to go like in a landscape that says you can't do this. You said, God can do this.
Right.
And how could he do it? And so I think that's where I actually see you as the opposite of that.
That's helpful. Thank you. Yeah, that's insightful. It's actually pretty cool. And I would say this, it's a kind of along those lines because as you're trying to figure things out, like it's problem solving, like you said, right? And there's a little bit of I think joy / get me out of bed every day when you haven't solved problems in reaching your vision.
Yeah.
Right. And so that is the motivating factor. It's not a demotivating factor for me specifically.
Yeah.
Like I
so
love
that motivates
getting out of bed and going, hey, we got some things to solve.
Right.
Because we're not here yet.
Yeah.
Right. And so how do we do that?
Right.
And I'll tell you what's shifting. So I'm turning 52.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm the old guy on our team now.
Okay.
And what's shifting is I'm actually thinking beyond me now because I have to.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm starting to do is take some of these problems that I've had to solve. And prime example is I'm communicating with one of our lead team pastors, my associate pastor. And I told him, I want you to solve this right now. It's a staffing thing.
Yep.
And I said,
interesting.
Come back to me with the solution. And so even this morning, we were going back and forth. He's killing it.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm actually enjoying kind of just going,
right.
I want to raise up younger now to help them see beyond just what they do and get them to start thinking about how do I actually solve problems on the macro?
Right.
How do I do this? And so that's kind of a joy of a new season for me. Okay.
Right.
It doesn't have to be about me.
Yeah.
Okay. Like that's, to me, I could care less if people knew Phil. I want people to know Jesus.
Yes.
And I want them to know Hope City is the church you go to know Jesus.
Love it.
And so that's where I'm just having a joy raising up some of the younger team now. Yeah. And just going, hey guys, hey gals, let's go.
Let's
you
go.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's been fun.
That's cool.
It's a little bit of a shift happening. Yeah.
That's so good. Okay. For the last little part, I want to just lean in on maybe what's next for you. What are you, are there areas that you kind of feel like, man, I'm untapped in this area. I'd love to see myself grow in, or I feel like I've, my own beliefs are limited in this. I want to actually stretch that muscle. Maybe even as you think of the church at large, like what are you hoping for? What are you seeing? I don't know. Just curious for you. Like what's kind of 52. What's kind of do you feel like next for you? Next generation, obviously a part of that, and getting some people to not just do as you say, but do as you do and think about some of these things. But what are you feeling for the next kind of season for you?
Yeah, I think I always want to be open to learning. Okay. Because I never want to say, okay, this is how it's been done. And I know how to do ministry. Yeah. Thankfully, I'm in a context of continuous growth that you can't do that. Right. We're constantly restructuring. We're constantly doing what we need to do with the growth that God's bringing. Yeah. So that helps you go, okay, what worked yesterday won't work tomorrow.
You have no choice just based on.
Exactly. Yep. So there's that constant morph, constant growth, constant saying, okay, how do we scale this to make it something that we can lead and last?
And leave for the next.
Right.
Yeah.
On a personal level, I get joy in coaching, talking to younger lead pastors. Yeah. And I mean, I haven't even said this out loud to anyone, dude, but
love it.
Is the part of what I think God stirred in my heart is how can I help from my experience, future lead pastors to just know how to lead in their context beyond just what they're doing, and take the things that I've learned. And so whether that's coaching, whether that's cohorts, I don't know. I'm still dreaming about that. So that's a little personal
something's
thing
in there about
he's stirring. Yeah. And it might just grow over the years still. You know what I'm saying? But
I imagine there's something there about, we always feel like a bit of an imposter. Like I'm still learning. Who am I to teach you how to do this? But like, I think there's also the other side of that is you have learned some things.
Right.
And like to own those and to go, God actually, revealed those in me and I want to pass those on.
I'm doing it with two guys right now. Yeah. Okay. one guy planted a church a number of years ago. He's killing it. We do a monthly call.
Yeah.
Another guy is here in Ontario, and they're both lead pastors. And I just see the joy it's given them and me.
Cool.
And when your spirit comes alive, when you're doing something, you're just like, yeah, okay.
So that fires you up.
Yeah.
In those combos, you're like, let's go.
Right. Especially when I can see them killing it.
Yeah.
And their church just, reaching people and doing it. And it's just something that maybe is on the back burner, going to the front burner type deal, right?
We'll be watching to see how that goes. I'd love to hear more about that. That's great. That's awesome. Cool, man. Well, for somebody who's watching then today, maybe they're a young leader, maybe they're creative, maybe they're kind of like just like me, a young kid, Manitoba kid, didn't believe that God could use them in a significant way. What would you want somebody watching to know in light of what God has done in you?
Yeah.
What would you want them to know about what God maybe could do in and through them?
I would just say, and I'm going to go back to something I said earlier, just be all in for the what's in front of you. Just continually be all in, because what happens is God and others see that. And you're going to rise beyond others if you're just continually pushing it for what you're responsible for in the moment. And I've seen that in my life. Hey, we see this guy. Okay. Yeah. Let's ask him to do this. Let's ask him to do this.
God will take care of the next. Yeah.
Exactly. Don't worry about the next.
Yeah.
Don't aspire to be something. Just aspire to be with God.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's such good feedback. I love that. Well, thank you, man, so much for being on here.
It's fun. Yeah.
It's always great to connect with some familiar faces and just to kind of reconnect.
Yeah.
So cheering you on, man, in this next season. Thank you for leading. Thank you for paving the way for, some of us that are just going, we're, doing our best to figure it out as well. And you're leading the charge for us in so many ways as a denomination. And so, yeah, man, thank you for doing that. And then also doing that with the best heart.
Yeah.
Like if it comes across and I think if I heard anything today, it's like, that's the most important part of,
it totally is
where we start. And if you get that right, sky's the limit what God can do. So thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Justin.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. And if you like this video and want to see more like it, just hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, or you can follow me on Instagram at @Driedger. And if you have a question, or if there's someone you would like to be featured on the show, shoot me an email at hello@helpmesee.ca. And together, let's keep challenging limiting belief systems, choosing to see possibility, and pushing past the familiar. This is the Help Me See Show.
Spot for self-confidence, but also understanding your self-worth in God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing. I feel like even for me as a communicator, so I preach once a month.
Yeah.
But in our context, becoming comfortable in your own skin, but then also elevating your skill set. So it's one is becoming comfortable, but not it's not a lazy comfortable.
No, not at all.
It's actually a refined comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm deepening that, but
totally.
But becoming comfortable in that is it feels most authentic. And I think that's what connects for people. I was talking to someone in the lobby and they're like, I just feel like I connect with you more this last few months, something shifted in you. And I was like, maybe, but I think more it's just I'm feeling this comfort in myself in some ways, but yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, it's great, man. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Good luck with your sermon writing, and Thursday's coming, Sunday's coming.
Totally, right? It is what it is.
I know.
It's great.
Yeah, that's what we do.
So appreciate you.
Oh, man, thank you so much.
Yeah.
That was great.